I've been thinking a lot lately about wanting and desiring and the things everyone wants. And I believe the thing everyone wants is happiness. But I also think the funny thing is that we don't understand that the things that we want are preventing us from obtaining the thing that we truly want. We want these things and we place our well being in their being obtained or not being obtained. And we don't realize that we could just shortcut it all and get the thing that we truly want if we just stop wanting these things. Because we think the things that we want are in service to what everyone wants: happiness, peace, tranquility, all the same thing to me. But they're actually the thing preventing us. And it's not even that the obtaining of them gives it to us. The obtaining of these things prevents it even further. And I don't know how one can come to this conclusion, if it's either through getting the things that you want and realizing you still feel empty, if it's being deprived of the things that you want and realizing that you're still fine, you're alive, and yeah, you're okay. Or if it's third, seeing the people who have obtained what you want worse off than you. And then this just makes you question your whole, beliefs. And this is kind of, I think it's all three. But I remember the last one for me hit very hard because I used to think, I think as probably most people do, it's a money problem. My problems are not anything but money problems. If I just had enough money, these problems wouldn't be a thing. But then I saw people with massive amounts of money, amounts of money that I thought was, you know, far more than what I needed to be happy. And they were miserable. They were worse off than I was. So then that and a combination of getting and not getting things that I want was, to me, just proof that the things that we want are actually preventing the thing that they're supposed to be in service to getting, which is, it's kind of comical when you think about it, that we could just shortcut it all by not wanting these things. And I don't want to sit on here and act like not wanting is possible. People talk about, not desiring anything and having zero desires. And I don't really think that is possible for a human being. But I do think it's possible to want what happens to happen. And I also think it's possible to I also think it's possible to the lighting. I don't know if you noticed the lighting switched, and it totally captured my attention and threw me off my train of thought. Damn. But maybe it was meant to happen because this is an example. Obviously I wanted to continue my train of thought, but to get upset, to end the video, and to just, fume, that is preventing the thing I'm making the video for, to help people. And that is preventing me from getting the feeling I want to get from helping people, which is feeling good, which is in service to being happy and being at peace. So, yeah, there's no reason to get upset about these trivial things. We place our well being in these things, but it's so much worse, the things that come about from not getting the things that we want, than not getting the thing we want. Ask yourself, is this really worth not being being at peace for? Is this really worth not being happy because I didn't get this thing, because a desire I had didn't come true? I don't think so. And I think I'm starting to remember what I was saying. I was talking about how obviously we need to have wants and desires, but I do believe we can want what happens to happen. And I also believe we can be in a position to see that, as I said, what we want is kind of trivial in the grand scheme of things. And to just be able to bypass that, how much better that would be. And I think you can want things from a lot healthier of a position, because if you don't place your well-being in the things that you want, if you say, my not obtaining this isn't the end of the world, then you can want it more healthily, healthily, healthily. Yeah, I think so. You can want it more healthily. Doesn't sound right. Um, but you can want it from a better place, and you can strive for it and realize that if I get this, and if I don't get this, my happiness isn't affected. The things that really matter are not affected. And I actually think this is the only viewpoint which you can, or this is the only way in which things cannot harm you. Because I do believe less is better, unless you have this mindset on everything is on loan, that the things that you want, the things that you have, don't improve or decrease your happiness. That is the only way the thing that obtaining more does not harm you. That is the only way that you do not develop these anxieties and these fears of losing the things that you think are bringing you happiness. But if you have happiness with a lot of things, I don't know how you have happiness with a lot of things if you don't already know this. Truthfully, because and maybe you don't know it, but you understand it, which is far better than knowing, as I've said before. So, a lot of times, I think it's obvious that people don't know things that they understand. They say, "Oh, I never thought of it like that," but they only say that because you compliment them on something that they just understand. It's just they don't need to think about it. They don't know it. It's just second nature. They just understand that, you know, the internal world, relationships, friendships, being kind, virtue, these are the things that matter. These are the things that bring happiness. These are the things that bring a fulfilling life, not more money, more possessions. So they have these things, but they don't place their well-being in these things, and they don't have the fear and anxiety of potentially losing them, and the accumulation of more, or the accumulation or the deaccumulation of less does not affect them, because they realize that it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this video, I had high hopes for it, and I kind of lost my train of thought in the middle. So I'm sorry if it was sporadic, but it isn't the end of the world, as I said. But the main point I want to make is that it's crazy that the things that we want are preventing the thing that we want. Don't continue to let these trivial wants inhibit you from gaining the real, true want. Because the true want we all have is not trivial. Happiness and peace and tranquility are the goals of human life. So don't let these trivial wants stop you from obtaining the want.